You know where you are with the cock. There's oily teenage lust on the go.
It's a fucking beauty.
This is the moment where it switches from a comedy, a slapstick comedy, to a fucking horror film.
We're foreshadowing, you cat.
They kiss and she stabs him.
Well, I never went so far as to fucking kill people. Are you insane?
But we're gonna have the Kung Fu Minister from Brain Dead.
Sorry, you've got something in your teeth. And he's like, have I? And she goes, yeah, lead.
He's killed a lot of people.
Burning sensation within inside him, and it's called love.
Hello everybody, welcome to Coming This Summer, Valentines edition. And today I have my two boyfriends, Ross Lane.
I do.
And Wooly D, Drew Woolnough.
I would.
Right, so as you guys have gathered, today is Valentine's Day. Well, tomorrow actually.
Oh.
So don't panic. Don't panic. Shit. You've still got a day to get your presents.
Isn't it more romantic if you forget it? Because then it sends you on like a... always in a sitcom, it sends you on some sort of crazy madcap adventure where your partner's angry with you, but then when you eventually get the present to them, or you go through this journey, by the end of it, they're more in love with you than they started with. So
you realise that you don't have to do anything special, and that is surely that is the gift in and of itself.
Exactly.
The lesson is always, we never really needed a present. I just needed you or whatever. Yeah. So let's just skip that bit.
I wanted you to get me a present.
Yeah.
I think we should just take this moment to let people know that we aren't licensed relationship therapists. We are, we have no experience in this. We are, this is purely opinion.
Yes.
Pretty sound advice.
Yeah.
Would you guys agree that we're
definitely deliberately forget every single event like that, because this is definitely how to play it every time.
Exactly.
We are four blokes.
Actually, we're three blokes.
Friday night, recording this on a Friday night.
Yep.
Sitting on our own.
In the dark.
Dark, so we know about relationships.
I like to think that love is in the air, though. Love is in the air.
Always.
Betwixt the three of us. The trio of love.
Tis and tit.
Tis and tit.
Right. So my idea I had... One of those ones, I've been thinking about it for a while. It's one of those ones where I feel like, well, it's not that it's a good idea. It's just I can't imagine that this doesn't exist. This film, when you think of something, you just think that's got to be a thing.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Right. So the idea is, you get on some things where people they make like a pact with each other. Where they just go, if by the time we're 40 or 50 or whatever, if neither of us are married, we'll get married. Just so then they're not on their own.
Classic.
They don't die alone.
Well, my thinking was, this couple, well, not a couple, it's two people, make that pact. But I'm thinking if you make one of them like proper, like just really, really beautiful person, right? So the other person is more into it. He's just he wants to marry this person, So he's
and they said it under the assumption that it wouldn't happen.
And what? Well, maybe.
And so he's sabotaging.
They kind of say it sort of maybe drunkenly or something, or they say.
Maybe if they don't say it drunkenly, they say it when they're kids. They see it on TV, because then obviously you're not who you're gonna be then.
Yeah.
And so it's so they're both like outsiders, social outcasts, and one of them blossoms and becomes like quite social and like very pretty and sort of just it goes on lots of dates, and the other one is a loner. And they did it deliberately with this idea. Yeah, they're deliberately sabotaging this normal person.
Or they haven't seen each other in fucking 20 years, and then they suddenly turn up. They're like, "Hey, it's me!
Remember the fact we did?" Well, because my first issue was, which way do we go down? Do we go in a sort of comedy way, where he makes like this lady's... Oh, firstly, should it be which way round are the couple? Is it a beautiful woman or a beautiful man?
What about two beautiful men, or at least a lot not so beautiful man and a beautiful man? Because there's a world of possibilities that you could explore here.
I could be up for that. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Or two women. Whatever.
Or bit.
No. Oh no.
Oh God.
No. Just you know where you are with a cock.
You know where you are with a cock. Ross Lane.
Okay.
28.
Yeah. Well, do we go that the person who's sabotaging it is he sort of just making the dates bad? Like, I don't know, makes one of them shit themselves, or
he's always there, like he figures out they haven't they're having a date at some restaurant, so he somehow manages to get a job there, and then like puts laxative in their food and shit, like
stuff like that. Or we could go the dark route, and he's killing these people.
Yeah, maybe it gets to the point where he's like, it started off for the first few times where it's like, oh yeah, ruining the date and that, but then as the other person gets progressively more desperate, they're like, oh, what's that? You're like, you've got all these like racist images on your phone, and they're so desperate, they're like, that's okay, it's fine. So then he's like, fuck, well, the only thing I can do now is I've just got to kill him. There's nothing else I can do. I've just got to kill him.
Yeah, well, maybe it could start. Yeah, it could start a bit more lighthearted, and then.
Well, there's nothing
really dark, really fast.
Yeah, we could, you could still classify it as a, like, think of it more as a really dark comedy. Then, like, sort of almost Coen Brothers-esque, sort of like the humor is that there's like it starts off quite light fare. It's still got I think it should always, even when it's been funny, have that slightly sinister overtone to it, because it's all a bit weird and creepy. But then maybe instead of it ramping up and the guy decides, oh, I better now just have to kill him, what if it just gets to a point where it kind of boils over, and he's trying to dissuade someone from dating this guy, and an altercation happens and he accidentally kills them, and then from that point he just he starts losing his mind, and it's kind of so desperate. And he's like, I've already killed. I'm gonna keep doing it, and he keeps unraveling, getting more and more sinister and cruel until eventually, I guess at that point you then end up. He gets on that trajectory. You get so desperate that he'd end up I don't know, kidnapping or taking hostage the person that he loves and trying to force them to That's the kind of climax of that arc or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but then you could still have it kind of. You can have it funny, but in a really dark way.
Yeah.
As I say, like really Jet Black kind of. I'm struggling to think of people, but not that Tarantino would do this scenario. But that sort of, you can have horrible stuff happening, but there's still comedy in it.
Like sort of Cabin in the Woods sort of
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
That'd be
Like Drew Goddard sort of style humor, kind of. Cabin in the Woods. That's excellent. Yeah.
Like, so it's like this is really, obviously it's like set up to be a comedy, but the way it's portrayed is really just not a comedy.
Exactly. You'd even keep twisting the conventions, or it kind of comes out of the boat feeling like it's going to be a bit like a sort of Sarah Jessica Parker, Matthew McConaughey rom-com type thing. Like they've got a wacky scenario and what's going to happen, and then it hits. But
then you see, then there's like
hook.
There's like a really graphic depiction of Matthew McConaughey, kind of like everything looks like it should be a comedy, except for the fact he's actually like chiseling some guy at the front of some guy's skull off, and you see everything, and like the guy's still alive, and then he just kind of like mashes his hand through his brain or something. Like,
yeah,
it's like really, really horrible stuff, but like it's kind of, but all this is happening whilst she's having a conversation with him as if he's still there, like,
Yeah,
and he's like silently murdering this guy in a flat or something.
Yeah. Well, what if we have because I don't know, I still quite like the idea of him so there's a little bit of sympathy for this character. He the first time he kills is by accident, but it would be cool to start the film with a shocking thing where we have that kind of.
So how did I get to this point? Like,
is that well, you could even have narration a lot, but that would be quite funny. Yeah, you have
as he's shoving a power drill into someone's fucking head.
It starts with like a sort of maybe like a telephone conversation between he's organising to see this person, whether it's a guy or a girl. It's all kind of light, and then it cuts back. It's even like it's a split.
Kind of like he's moving around a bit, and then as it pans down, he's like garrotting someone, like strangling him while he's on the phone.
It's super cheesy, so it's like a split screen like thing, you know, like really fucking crappy and cheesy, almost like 90s bad cheese. It's like a split screen phone conversation, and like the girl or the other guy is in the bed, lying in the bed, like talking to him, and then the split screen slides off the screen and it goes down, and he's garrotting someone, and then maybe even we go really fucking like weird and meta, and then he's doing that, and then he looks at the camera and starts like. So it's just like, oh, so I bet you're wondering how I got to this point. Or like it turns into that sort of it flashes back to he's telling their story. It flashes back to when they made the thing, and then it goes. That could be quite fun.
That'd be so good. That's exactly the sort of thing I was thinking.
Yeah, because that's what's so great about that Cabin in the Woods opening, where you have the office talk, and then suddenly that's like this horror font over, and you're like, what the fuck is this film? And then it starts to explain all the bits.
Okay, so. We need a bit of romance in it.
Yeah. So what do you guys do? You like, I guess let's decide on definitively when they make this deal, like this arrangement. Maybe it should be a drunken night or so. Like,
I think kids because there's like such a it's like such an unbelievably different time.
Yeah, it's either when you're kids or when you're sort of maybe our age, sort of maybe 30.
There has to be enough time
early 30s, because no one thinks like when they're like 20, no one's worrying about when they're going to get married, are they? It's always it's like that's later.
When you're in your 30s to your 40s, midlife crisis.
Yeah, actually early to mid 40s. That's when you start, or when you're kids, when you're just doing it for a joke.
I think the more I think about it, I think maybe kids is the best way, because then you have that build up of this character. This guy has been obsessed with this deal since he was a kid, and the other ones clearly moved on and just lived their life. Whereas this person can't get over this because he was so in love with this person, like that kind of childlike innocent love, and it's turned into something really horrible.
They shouldn't be too young. I think they should be like 11 or 12.
Well, I was going to say I think that's reasonable.
So they're not fully pubic, so they're not lecherous in any way or lusty. It's all they're cognizant. It's
very platonic love
the idea.
Sort of thing.
Yeah. Not for this guy. He's still like, ooh.
Nah. He as he gets older, his feelings change, and he's like, hold on a second, this could be my in.
There's a burning sensation inside him, and it's called love.
There's oily teenage lust on the go.
Oily love.
Is it so they make this deal. Where are they? They're at school? What are they? Or
they're in a playground on a swing.
Yes,
playground
definitely.
On a swing.
That's where these things happen.
Yeah, this person's just the one that is the object of desire is just like split up with one of those primary school boyfriend whatever, like that kind of thing that lasts for like a day. Break. And they feel like even though it's nothing, they feel like it's the end of the world. And this guy, our hero / I guess villain, really is like consoling his best friend, and they decide to do this deal because he or she's upset. And so, what are we going to do it as a same-sex thing, or as a boy-girl, or as a girl-boy?
I think it should be boy-girl.
Just to get Middle America on board, to get the conservatives on board.
To be honest, I don't think there's enough cinematic experience to come up with a film like this sort of thing for anyone to do it any sort of justice. So I'm going to go with the classic trope.
Yeah.
It might not be current, but it's there.
Yeah, I don't think we're qualified to tackle sort of that.
I ain't got the balls.
Let's stick to the cliched sort of thing, like.
But I think at the same time, you could just say, that this is going to be such a generic kind of film. You could just swap them for any gender. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why don't you do that? We'll make them boy girl at the moment, and then just at the last minute, we'll make it two blokes.
Yeah,
and then keep the same
twist in the film.
Yeah, keep the You keep the same script, same everything. It's just now it's a bloke or
we could just come up with actors so you could play all the parts in
Yeah.
whichever you want to make.
Oh, I'm up for that. Ross,
Nice.
you get a point. Good
Wait.
idea, Ross.
Yeah, come up with every scenario possible.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
It ends with these two kids making this pact, right? And then do we cut to them when they're older?
Well, that's the second.
There could be a
scene. That'll be
montage,
the
a growing
second
up
scene.
montage.
So
And it could literally show them, like, it can show them, like, perhaps moving apart, and then them each of their individual own lives. But then you start to realise they're never actually doing the same things together. So you start to figure out that, like, they have drifted far apart.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. But yeah, so we start with that kind of scene at kind of near the end. This scene, that's the shocking scene that we talked about, where you kind of start with a bang and then flash back to when they're kids and then do this montage thing. But maybe the second scene is that kids when they make that pact, and we have that play out as an actual scene, and then we have that montage after that. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have that opening scene of him killing someone, and you're like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? Flashback to kids, do the pact, the little deal, and then we have it's basically an upstyle montage, isn't it? A sad montage where they grow up and grow apart.
Yeah.
Or it's almost like maybe it's more Toy Story 2.
They are changing.
They could start dating other people. They could go on like dates, like they have separate dates to the prom and stuff. But just the psycho one is just not interested. He's just going through the motions, whereas the other one...
He's just looking over at her constantly,
Yeah, because he's just thinking, well, let's just do this, because then when I'm 40, I'm going to get married to her, so why bother with anything? Whereas she is trying...
Sack this shit off.
There should be there's a turning point as well, where in that montage, he's doing that, and maybe he's waiting. He's going on these dates out of formality, but he doesn't look necessarily unhappy. It's more he's expectant. He's with his dates, and it's kind of he's disconnected, and he looks over to the object of his desire, and he's like, "Well, we're going to get together." Yeah. There has to be a turning point where we keep seeing this other person go on all these dates, and he's seeing them, somehow, and the bitterness starts to sink in, and this kind of within the montage, you see where it starts to turn nasty, and it's a bit like, "Oh, hang on." What the fuck? And so the montage maybe takes us up to speed when he starts. Maybe it's when he finally snaps and starts sabotaging it, or do you think he should have been sabotaging it for a long time? What do you reckon?
Yeah,
I think we could get some funny scenes out of him, out of actually seeing like a full scene of him sabotaging the date.
Yeah. Oh, we'd have like a few, but I mean, will he? When we see that first full scene of a sabotage, will that be his first sabotage, do you think?
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Because we'll have a few, because we need to have a few light-hearted ones, and they gradually get more intense until he kills someone, and then
What about in the montage, you see like him kind of go, like, do something like not particularly bad, and then like he goes home and he's got like a poster board or something on his wall with a load of faces on it, and he's just got X's on like loads of their faces, and then you see him adding another X onto like this photograph of someone. And then but it's something like light-hearted, like he just, I don't know, just something not death related.
That's a good yeah.
Well, I've just thought, what if she gets proposed to?
And he realizes he's got to do something.
She says yes. So now he's got to get rid of this guy. Which he does.
Maybe in the montage it's actually him just monitoring her breakups. Like he doesn't get, but then he realizes, he's like, "Fuck, this guy's proposed to her. Things are getting serious. I've got to step in here." Like, because at first he's not actually sabotaging them as such, but he's just monitoring the breakups. It's like, and that already is starting to get really weird.
We even see him monitoring. Maybe he's monitoring the break. He's also monitoring just the relationship. Towards the end of the montage, he's literally spying on all of these relationships, and he's noting down. He's noting down when he's keeping an eye, and he's noting down when they break up and why they broke up. He's trying to figure out all of the things that they don't like, what he should do. And maybe he's got like a little journal, and it's like the diary is like massive. And it's like only like 2,782 days to go or something like that. Each page is a countdown. He's made the countdown to when they will both be 40 and be able to get married. And on the deck, that's where he's keeping his little ledger. But yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, her getting proposed to is when he starts to. So we could have some amusing, light-hearted things where he's trying to sabotage and they backfire. So he does stuff like that. Put the like Dumb and Dumber puts the laxatives in the champagne flute or whatever, and the guy has diarrhea, but she's obviously comforting of him, and he's like, "Damn, I need to step it up." And then it could lead to like maybe at like the engagement. You know, they have not engagement party, but you know they have the fake wedding before the kind of the trial.
Oh
yeah.
Wedding rehearsal.
And after that, he's our main character's with the guy she's marrying, and they're like drunk together because he's her oldest friend. And so this guy like wants to get to know him a bit better, and they get drunk, and that's when he accidentally kills him because in their drunken state they start arguing, and he offs him. Yeah.
Or what if? This is how we can make it so that the guy's a good guy. What if in a drunken state the fiance admits something really bad, like he's cheating on her?
He's always cheating on her. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So he kills him and not revenge.
He literally like throttles it. Like he's doing it to protect her. He thinks he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, but also, there's the added bonus of now the pact is still on.
Yeah, he's now back in the running,
and he's just
he gets a taste for it.
Yeah, this is when he's like, that's a quick and easy solution to what I've been doing. All this
was so easy.
All these fucking things I've been doing is just
this elaborate
I could
comedic. This is the moment where it switches from a slapstick comedy, to a fucking horror film.
Yeah, and then we have a midpoint montage, kind of like how Scarface has their midpoint montage. So this is, if we look at the Scarface, I don't know why we would, but Scarface is the template. This is the bit, we've gotten to the bit where Tony Montana takes over the sort of crime syndicate. And then you have your push it to the limits montage where he's succeeding. But instead of that, so he's done his first kill, or our character's done their first kill, and now we've got like a montage of him comforting this woman and time's going by. Yeah, and you say as she's dating now, instead of seeing all the spying and monitoring and stuff, now we see a montage of him killing everyone and offing everyone, like getting to it like. But what would the next point of action be? If you see what I mean. Would she get proposed to again, or
why he kills another person?
No. I mean, as in, if we have like, because we want more the idea that he's killing more, because that would be quite interesting, and that's the darkly comic bit. He's almost getting addicted to that killing.
Yeah.
And if we're having a montage bit, what's the next point that we kind of stop, and the way that we stopped and saw her get proposed to? And we spent time in that era. Yeah. What's the next logical? Is it like they're getting close to being 40, and the pact, and he starts mentioning the pact again, or she gets proposed to again, but that might be a little bit obvious.
Could it be? What if the police get involved?
Maybe because all of her boyfriends keep disappearing.
Well, the police find this connection between all these deaths of these blokes that have gone missing, and the connection is that they've all gone out on a date with this woman.
So maybe they think that she's the fucking murderer.
They think it's her.
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh shit! I was going to say that she didn't realize that the guy, the killer, had been doing it so efficiently. Then they never really knew that. She just always assumed they'd left her without calling her. And he finally slips up on this last one, and they find the body, and that's when they realize. But no, I like your idea more. Like there's two ways you could go where it's like you finally found out that all her boyfriends are getting murdered, and she didn't know that before. Or no, I think I like your guys' way better, where she's accused of murdering all her boyfriends.
Yeah. And then
he's in that position where it's like, do I protect her? Like, do I come forward, or
does he come? Forward?
He has to find someone to pin it on. Because that only logical way he thinks he can get her out of it is he needs to frame someone else for it. Maybe.
Yeah. He tries everything he can, but I think maybe he should confess. Because he loves her, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and then this is how she finds out what he's been doing. Maybe she finds this little book that he's got where he's keeping. And she's like going, "Oh, I remember that. I remember that."
Wait a minute.
And then she finds out that he's killing all these people. And maybe she then falls out with him. She has a proper go at him.
Yeah.
So I guess, would that be the sort of end of the second act?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Or the end of the second act, or kind of building up to the climax, really, isn't it? It's like a turning point, isn't it? Where we're running to the end.
The loss section of the old hero's journey.
Yeah, it's in the rom-com. This is the bit where you have the bit where they date, and then a bit where they're trying to get together. They get together, then they break up, and then there's the resolution comes after that. Yeah.
Okay. So how do we resolve this? He's killed a lot of people.
Yeah, I can't see many ways he's getting out of this.
Yeah.
Well, what if I think maybe, because we've got to escalate it gradually. What if he, instead of her finding out that he killed all of those boyfriends, she does find his ledger. Like they're talking maybe about when they were kids, and they're talking about this kind of thing, like her latest boyfriend has gone missing, or she's worried about this police investigation, say, and she's gone over to talk it over with him to be consoled, and then he goes out of the room, like to get food or get some drinks or something like that, and she sees this ledger and it's got her name on it, like it's not obvious, but it's in the corner, and she's like, oh, that's weird, and she starts looking through, and it's the ledger of all of the stuff he'd been spying on her for, like all over the years. So it's not the murders necessarily, but he has been creepy and weird. So it's a different level. He's not a murderer, but it's enough to make her wary of him, and like, because it goes up to when they're adults, and it's like, this is a bit fucking weird. And like, have you been spying on me all this time? And they have a falling out without her actually realizing that he's a murderer, because otherwise she would just go to police and tell them he's a murderer.
Yeah, that's true.
So she falls out with him and runs off, and he's angry. And then the only thing he can do after that, he thinks, is kidnap her and try and just convince her, like, he's at the end of his tethers, like, you're gonna love me, I love you. Like,
this is all just a big misunderstanding.
And that's the big final thing, that's when she finds out that he's a murderer, like that he's killed people.
Yeah.
I'm going for that. I
like that. That's
good.
So now,
because you want it to escalate and not get too
because this
quick.
This is now the final battle, isn't it?
Exactly. She's got to outwit him, or like she's got to use all of her smarts to get out of this situation and sort of bring him to justice.
Yeah.
He'll probably kill him, or he kill himself.
Because maybe he's kidnapped a minister as well. and he's
had him for years.
Yeah, he's had this whole wedding plan.
I'm just imagining,
there's like skeletons everywhere. Like.
Now I'm just imagining the end of Beetlejuice, where he's trying to force Winona Ryder to marry him. It's like that. Yeah, actually, that's a great idea, actually, because he's kept because I had it more in my head. It was more grimy and horrible, him keeping her hostage. But if we make it like that, it's still, there's this weird childlike innocence to it. He's kidnapped her, but he's like, we're gonna get married, and you're gonna, like, we've always talked about. I mean, you love me. Like, he's just so in love with her that it's just nothing. It's just like a weird.
Matters.
He just can't see what he's fucking done.
No. But then we see when they get the ministers. Like, oh my god, you like what? How did you get the minister to agree to this? It's like, well, this is the first. You think this is the first one I tried, and then there's like this bodies, all these ministers that wouldn't do it for him because they're like, we can't. We object to it, and this is the final one, and he's forced to. He's like constantly quivering and shaking as he's doing it. It's that sort of thing where he's going like, do you take this man? Do you take this man?
And he's just covered in dry blood.
He's just slapping the minister about. It's really horrific and horrible.
Really grabbing him by his collar, really slapping him around the face, like being really unbelievably rough with him. God, it's just
he's
so
doing
funny.
that all the time whilst like turning to her and like smiling manically and going like, we'll look back on this day and we'll laugh. We will.
Word me.
See, we're laughing already.
We're laughing. Do I? Do I? I
backhands the
do.
minister. Who said you could laugh?
Right. How's she going to get out of this
man.
mess?
She's in quite a pickle yet. Well, I'm not sure, because he is a bit of a villain. But there's part of me that thinks, I think he should die, but thinking she loves him.
Yeah.
So maybe she just goes along with it. And she gets married to him. Maybe she kisses him, maybe, and they're about to consummate. Maybe.
Well, this is getting a bit weird.
Yeah, it is a bit weird, isn't it?
No, because that's horrible. I think she's got to be resisting, because I don't know. Just the image I have in her is much more. I don't know, feisty's not the word, but less passive than that. That sounds quite passive.
Yeah.
I think she would be figuring out a way. It would be maybe on the I do, and you may now kiss the bride. She's determined, but they kiss and she stabs him.
Just as they go to kiss, she's like, "Oh, sorry, you've got something in your teeth," and he's like, "Have I?" And she goes, "Yeah, lead." And pulls that pistol and fucking jams it in his mouth and blows his brains out.
They had no idea the whole time she had a gun on her.
Fucking really big shotgun or something. Like, it just like she just pulls it out of nowhere.
Like a cartoon, like when they pull it from the side.
They have a big old brawl, and like the minister gets involved. He obviously gets killed in an absolutely unbelievably hideous way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's a less poignant ending.
It's the ending it deserves.
More fun, though. Yeah, that's true. I almost have images. It's almost like leaning into brain dead levels of fucking lunacy.
Well, what
we're gonna have the kung fu minister from Brain Dead. I kick ass for the Lord.
Yeah, what if she does just get the upper hand on him somehow? Maybe stabs him in the stomach or something, or she gets the gun out and shoots him, but he doesn't die instantly, but he is dying, and then they have a nice moment, like he's sort of dying in her arms. Maybe could there be a thing where you find out that she has loved him the whole time?
Yeah,
and she sabotaging all of his relationships.
I've been doing the same. Well, yeah, she's been doing the same, but luckily he hasn't gone out with as many people.
Yeah, and she was like, "Well, I never went so far as to fucking kill people. Are you insane?"
I still kept an eye on you, but
Jesus Christ, it's just overkill.
Yeah, maybe just all these other people she was with, it was just practice. I wanted to be ready for you. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
And then
I don't know. I like the idea of her being in love with him, but I like it more almost like you play it out in a scene where it's almost like she didn't realize how much she cared about him until he's leaving her.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, I'm leaning too much on the drama. I think this end should be dramatic, though.
Yeah, I think so.
We have a lot of comedy in the film, but this end is sort of she gets the upper hand and kills him, but then it's like an instant regret. Even though he's a maniac, she still cares about him, and he has as he's dying, he is just he's that tender, sweet boy that she knew. The sort of he just reaches out and touches her face and stuff as he starts to fall to the ground, and they start talking about old times and just kind of a tragic ending that she realizes that she actually loved him, and maybe if they'd gone out together, he wouldn't. Maybe if they'd been together, he wouldn't have turned into a maniac. Maybe he would. Lots of questions at the end. That'd be good.
Yeah, I think you could leave that open.
Exactly. That's the question the audience wonders. Yeah, it's her holding him, and she starts crying, and then that's
maybe you hear woo, siren in the background, so you know.
Yeah.
Shit's gone down. She's safe, but at what cost?
And then the credits kick in. Her name was Rio, and she dances in love. It's really incongruous.
Right, who are we casting? Okay, so this is 8 people we're casting. We're doing male and female, both way round. 2 men and 2 women.
Oh yeah,
we've got a big old job ahead of us.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do beautiful woman, weird man.
Woman.
What are we calling them? One weird, one beautiful? Is that?
Well, they don't have to be. It doesn't have to be that she's more beautiful. It's just that he's more withdrawn and they're more outgoing, sort of.
Right. Okay.
It doesn't have to be about beauty and ugly. Maybe it's just more psychological disposition.
So they have to be sort of mid-30s.
Can they be playing when we have the flashback of the kids? Can they be playing the kids as well?
Yeah.
In like little.
They're like superimposed and really small on the screen.
One of them's just wearing a cap but sideways.
One of them's just dressed like the American Dennis the Menace. Got little dungarees, stripy. Yeah, one of them's got those crappy little hats on with the helicopter blades. The girl's got like blonde pigtails and like a gingham dress, and even if it's two guys, one of the guys has got blonde pigtails, and gingham dress.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're not changing anything. Only the actor.
We're not only the actor we're changing. They're like, the actors come in and go, couldn't I just wear my clothes? It's, set in modern times. No, we've got the wardrobe very specifically. It's all about the colours. The colours mean something.
You don't understand.
Chosen purple for dominance, and this is red for anger.
And green for envy.
Envy.
Foreshadowing.
We're foreshadowing, you cat.
You fucking muppet.
Alright, so who we got?
That is classic director voice.
Because these sort of films...
Michael Cera.
Yeah,
Michael Cera. Yeah.
Michael Cera for the weird boy.
Yeah.
I mean, surely. That's like easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, because these sort of films, they're kind of left for Jennifer Aniston, aren't they? But she's a bit older now, isn't she?
What about
who's like the new Jennifer Aniston?
She's a little bit younger, but what about Brie Larson?
Yeah.
Brie Larson. Yeah. She's good. She's very likable. Like she does comedy drama well. Just kind of.
She also comes across as tough when she wants to be as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, she's Captain Marvel, isn't she?
She's fucking Captain.
I've learned some moves.
I think she'd be a good one.
Yeah, I think that's
good girl.
I still think with the two bloke ones, it should be Michael Cera and someone
Michael Fassbender.
And Michael Fassbender.
I don't know why that's so funny. It'd
have to be.
The juxtaposition of them makes perfect sense why Michael Cera would end up as the Michael Fassbender lives a normal life. I just can't imagine those two on screen. I don't know why it's so weird.
I think I have the opposite problem. I can imagine it way too easily.
I want to see it, Ross. I want to see it. So yeah, that is fantastic. What about What about the other girl for the other part? So the girl for the weird girl.
The weird girl. Let's have. Who's a weird girl?
Mel from Flight of the Conchords. She's already played an obsessive fan. Kristen Schaal, isn't it?
Yeah, Kristen Schaal. Oh, mate, I'm proud of that.
That would be really good.
You know I'm in love with you.
Mate,
that'd be pretty sick. So now we need a guy and a woman for the fiance as well. Fiance.
Oh,
Ross.
I was thinking you could make several films. So you could obviously have the guy and the guy, the girl and the girl, and then two sets of guy and girl, or four, because you could switch it over so many times.
Yeah, we can have so many.
We can make a different. Yeah, we can make all of the combinations of this film.
Yeah,
every single one. We have because then we put out a DVD box set, a collection, and we call it. We call it like we give it like a trilogy, quadrilogy name, as though it's a series of films, but they're all the same film.
Yeah. Or what if you went really full on art house and just had it in every act, like it switched between which of the actors was who? So it's the same film all the way throughout.
And the only way you can tell is that the costumes Like when they're adults, the characters only wear one costume, and that's the only way you could tell. Or they are like really distinct primary colours is the only bit. Like one's only wearing bright green, bright red, blue.
Or they wear their clothes just have a massive number on them.
One just always has Psycho Killer written on them, and everyone has Qu'est-ce que c'est.
A sad face and a happy face.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, we need a couple of fiancé men, fiancé lady, woman.
So who could Brie Larson bag?
She bag anyone she wants. Who?
Corn.
I said Gorn. Gorn.
Oh, Gorn.
Gorn.
The guy from Corn.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Jonathan Davis. That guy from Corn. Why?
I thought that's what Ross said.
No, not the guy from Corn.
From Corn.
Stephen is funny.
Oh, I tell you what about Ewan McGregor?
Yeah.
An older man, and then it works with Michael Fassbender. I can just imagine Brie Larson, Ewan McGregor, Michael Fassbender, and Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep, lovely.
And he's got like a sort of he's likable, but he's also he feels a bit smarmy as well. So you kind of want the killer to get him.
Smarmo.
A smarmatron.
We need
Smarmite.
a smarmy lady.
Marmalades.
Smarmalades.
Lady Marmalade.
Ladies.
So what, Christina Aguilera? Pink. Missy Elliott.
Hey, what about Scarlett Johansson? That took me ages to remember her name there.
Yeah.
She's a proper smarmy lady.
She's a smarmo as well, yeah.
She's
bloody big smarmo.
Yeah, she's
Smarmalade. Yeah.
What should we call this film? I mean, it's easy just to call it the Wedding Pact. That's what these sort of films would call it.
Yeah.
We can
The Wedding Pact.
American Wedding Pact, is that what
Yes, but there's already America. I feel like we should put American or a country in front of it.
Yeah, I like American Wedding Pact.
American Wedding Pact. Right, who's going to direct it?
Who's always had a tip? Who's been like typical for these sorts of films?
What about Tim Burton?
No, he can't because it hasn't got Helen Bonham Helen that one
Carter.
and
we haven't got
Dexter.
Helena Bonham Carter or
Right.
even Eva Green
So
Eva Green would be good. What's that?
So what sort of tone do we want? We want it to be sort of funny, but
then it gets a bit weird, like a bit cloying and overbearing, and then you're like, oh dear, it's actually really not as funny as I thought it was.
right.
Yeah. I'd say, what about the guy who directed Cabin in the Woods? Drew Goddard.
Yes.
In terms of twist.
Has he done anything
I
else?
don't know. He wrote, I think Drew Goddard wrote The Martian and co-wrote Iron Man 3. He's written on a lot of stuff. I don't know about like this type of thing. The only thing I think of, like Ross, I think is getting at, is that he's quite good with those twists, subverting the conventions and stuff which this film is kind of doing. But I don't know. There might be a safer pair of hands. That would be a bit more of a risky one. Unless we pitch it to the Coen brothers, then they do that kind of their slightly funnier, dark, funny side twist on it, almost like Burn After Reading, Coen brothers sort of thing. Slightly farcical. I don't know. Richard Curtis.
Back to his roots.
That hasn't got Hugh Grant.
Oh,
yeah.
have you guys seen The Babysitter?
No.
It's a film on Netflix. It's quite good.
About sitting on babies.
No, it's quite good. And that's directed by McG.
Oh, no, not McG.
Old McG.
Our old friend McG.
Yeah, McG.
McG.
You can't call yourself McG. I don't
come
want him.
on.
He
Fuck
don't get this film. Fucking McG.
You're asking for trouble when you call yourself G. Gee whiz. Get another name.
Gee whiz.
If we made it, this would slightly err on the really quirky side, so I don't know if it worked. But I guess he's done broader. What about Richard Ayoade? If we're getting the league to write it, why don't, like...
Yeah, he would get
it's an
the
American...
quirky
Yeah,
aspect.
he could get the quirkiness.
And he's done, like, he dabbled in little bits of horror and stuff. Or maybe we force him and Matt Holness to do it. Maybe we get him and Matthew Holness to write it and direct it. Because
we'll get Garth Marenghi to direct it.
He directs it in character.
Yeah. He could be like the copper that cracks the case.
Yeah. He thinks he's like Hitchcock or something. He comes out at the start before the opening and like introduces it and stuff. And it's, that'd be fucking awesome. Yeah, well, yeah, and it's like then they're also, it's still set in America, but it's giving their kind of an added edge of irony and taking apart the genre. Yeah. Like picking apart this kind of sappy, saccharine, romantic comedy, and they're just injecting it with their ridiculous, ironic humor.
Oh man, that's fucking spot on. Like it. Can anyone do a Garth Marenghi impression? Because I think that's how we should end.
I think Drew. I think you're better. I don't think I can do it. Is this a
good Garth Marenghi? Oh shit. What's that? It's a bit. No, ignore me. I'm just gonna do it normally. That's getting cut out.
That's great. No, leave it in. It's all gold. It's all gold.
It humbles me. It humbles me, doesn't it?
It humbles it. It makes you more approachable. It demythologizes the film now.
I can have a laugh at myself.
You can have a laugh, can't you? You can have a laugh at yourself.
Coming this summer, I bring you American Wedding Pact. If you guys would like to contact us, you can find us on Twitter at ComingThisPod. You can find us on Facebook at Coming This Summer Podcast. You can subscribe to us on Podbean, which is comingthissummer.podbean.com, or you can subscribe to us on iTunes, which is just type in Coming This Summer. You could leave us a review as well, just to let us know how you think we're doing, whether we should keep doing it anymore. That would be very nice. Thank you. Bye.